AllyCharms. She's a cosplayer. And I'm GameTees slash DOS Cosplays, or David for short. I'm known throughout Facebook and Twitter and Twitch community of different names. But right now we're interviewing Miss Ally, and we're going to get to the bottom of everything. So, Ally, first question: how did you discover cosplaying?
Oh, I remember when I was in high school, we had just moved to Arizona and I was just getting into anime, getting into more like nerdy stuff. And I just stumbled upon it one day looking up something about Full Metal Alchemist and I saw cosplay and I'm like, what is cosplay? Like, isn't dressing up only for Halloween? And I started getting more and more like, okay, like cosplay, like this actually might be a lot of fun going to conventions just as your favorite character and everything. So, and now look where I'm at.
Yeah, exactly. So, what was your first cosplay
My first cosplay wasn't like my official, but I did a really, really bad version of Edward Elric from Fullmetal Alchemist. Like I turned inside out a like zip up jacket, put some like really frayed like white on the around it, just safety pinned it on. It was bad. My first official one was Dark Mousy from D and Angel, which is one of my favorite animes,
then?
and I just didn't have a spiked wig or anything, so one of my next like things later down the line is to revamp that one, bring that one back with a spiked wig and everything.
Nice. So you said you just moved to Arizona. So where are you originally from?
Well, I was born in Utah back in '94, and I've just been moving all my life. My dad was in the military, he was Air
Hmm.
Force. So I even lived in Japan for 4 years, but I was
Wow.
a baby at the time, so I don't even remember
Oh yeah.
anything.
I was gonna
All I
say that could be like why you like anime.
nah, I wish it was, but I do want to go back. I do want to go with my husband. We already have plans for like years down the line to go back to Japan and visit it
Yeah,
again.
it is expensive. I have heard.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Yeah, exactly. So what's for the plan? Because I know we're in quarantine land right now,
Yeah.
and so it's really hard to really start a new cosplay. So do you have any cosplay ideas that you're thinking of doing next?
One of my next ones that I'm gonna do, I actually already have the wig if you see the red in the
Yep.
background. I'm doing Ria Scremery from High School DxD, which is one of my all-time favorite animes. I'm also planning on doing Loop from the Adventure Zone. It would be my
Okay.
second Adventure Zone costume besides this one. And I would love to do Crow Bronwyn from Ruby. I would like to do a
Okay.
female version. I already made the wig and everything. I just need to get the rest of the materials. So
So kind of like a gender bend. Cool.
yes,
Nice. Very nice.
exactly, exactly.
Very nice. So have you ever been in contest with your cosplays?
Yes, I have. Back in 2015, when FanFest was still around, I did basically make my first ones. I've done the Matsuri ones a couple of times, but my first official one was FanFest 2015.
Okay.
I did both my Winter Soldier and Honey Lemon. 2016 Comic Con, I did my Winter Soldier, and then 2016 Sabotin, I did a Gaijinka of Manaphy from Pokemon. So those are like the contests that I've been in. I haven't really done anything else at the moment. I was going to do the Game On Expo one in August, but
Unfortunately, it got canceled.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
yeah.
So fingers crossed, Fan Fusion still is a
Fingers
go,
crossed. Fingers
and
crossed.
I think there's going to be a lot of people in different masks.
Oh yeah, very much so. I know
uh,
Anime Expo actually has a contest where you would create a mask that's based on the character that you're cosplaying, and that's like one of their contests
yeah,
is like how well does the mask match the outfit? So
yeah, exactly. And like word, like the rumor mill is going where is if Trump can have his rallies, then why can't cosplayers have their cons? That's the new.
exactly.
That's the new thing.
Yeah.
Because I could understand if somebody said, oh, like, oh my gosh, uh, you know, you can't have a rally here, then that would make sense, and cosplayers wouldn't have a reason to complain. Um, however, with that being the case, it's giving cosplayers a chance to say, "Hey, huh? Just
Exactly.
saying, if you're
Why
letting rallies where thousands of people are there, why can't we have our cons? Because I'll tell
exactly,
you this
yeah.
much: cosplayers are probably more apt to put on a mask.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I would understand putting on a mask and everything, but if they can have the rallies, why can't we do,
Yeah,
like, this kinda stuff? So,
exactly. And I think it's people are going a little stir crazy, and so that's why
oh, yeah.
hopefully with what I'm doing with cosplayer interviews, hopefully it'll bring a little bit more attention to the cosplayer brands and
Mhm.
help them. One of the viewers in here said your wig looks
Oh, thank
fine.
you. I haven't styled it at all today, like, at
Yeah.
all, so
Oh, yeah. Hey, trust me. I don't know anything about wig styling, and which comes down to the next question: is do you prefer sewing, armor making, or wig working? A lot
um
of cosplayers I like, talk to say wigs are horrible to style.
yeah, and actually, I'm the one that says I actually prefer wig styling, it's just so fun to do, so, like, I've done a little bit of armor making when I made my Winter Soldier arm, and, I even did it with, like, a bracer that I did for this
Oh,
particular
nice.
costume, and I actually did, a few things. Yeah, you're on video. That's my
You're
husband,
on
sorry.
candid camera.
I know, right? But, yeah, I
Right.
I just prefer wig styling. Sewing, I'm still kind of new to,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah,
like,
my wife is a master of sewing. She did this
that
outfit
is
behind me.
that is really nice.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
what in the world? You did that without a pattern? You crazy? You know,
yeah. Yeah, my husband is the one that, like, he'll go without a pattern, and it's, like, absolutely fantastic. So,
it's
with
amazing.
me, it's definitely wig styling. I mean, in the picture you guys saw on the, post from, cosplay, interview,
Yeah.
I had, like, the wispy bangs and everything.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, like, how hard it was to do that, but it was so
Oh, I'm
rewarding.
sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
so
But it's rewarding at the end, right?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So, do you prefer to do photo shoots at cons or at specific locations? Like, would you say like your most of your photo shoots that you do for your Instagram or anything would be at cons, or would you say outside of the con?
I can say both. I've never been in a photo shoot outside of a convention or even done like a big photo shoot where I'm getting like multiple pictures of like the same character.
Yeah.
So I've mainly really done like at conventions. But I would actually like to do some on like on locations. There's a really pretty place down in downtown Mesa where it has like it's like the art center and all of like it lights up at night and it looks absolutely beautiful. And I would love to take
Yeah.
one of my costumes over there towards like when it gets later in the day to take some pictures
Exactly.
or go somewhere like the Renaissance Festival. Like they have like that like little area where there's not much there,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it would just be really nice to do some like maybe like Fallout costumes or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's always good because the good thing about the Arizona cosplay community is that a lot of people know what type of locations. When I was doing the Psycho Bandit cosplay, people were like, "Oh, go north, Phoenix up here. Like there's like an abandoned like little
oh
area."
yeah,
I was like, "What? Okay, cool. This is awesome." And it's really cool. Arizona seems that like there's a lot of places around where no matter what your cosplay is, you're going to find a location.
exactly. No matter what fandom, what costume, whatever it is, you're gonna find something here in Arizona. If you go up north, you get the trees. If you have down here, you have like a wasteland setting for
Yeah,
like any Fallout or the
yeah.
Psycho Bandit or anything like
Oh,
that.
you're gonna sweat though, but
Yeah, that's
yeah,
no.
that's the downside about that. It's
Oh yeah.
just sometimes with a cosplayer I was talking to a while ago, is he was saying the Arizona heat just makes it so hard to stay in a position because you're like, okay, take the picture, take the picture, take the picture.
Oh yeah. You're just
Yeah.
like trying to be like, okay, pose, take the picture, take it,
It's
please.
like
Just
I'm
let me
sweating,
know.
my makeup is running.
Oh yeah, very
Yeah,
much so.
yeah, exactly, and that's why setting spray is really good. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So do you have is there a type of character that you cosplay frequently?
Right now, ever since August rolled around last year, I've been cosplaying a lot of Taco from the Adventure Zone. That's actually what this one is,
Okay.
and what this hat is from, all that kind of stuff. That one's the one I'm mainly doing right now.
Nice.
But I like more like the fantasy stuff. Um, Like, it just kind of varies, like, from mood to mood, to be honest, because if I'm in a specific fandom, I might like this specific character, but then I have an if there's another fandom that's a completely different genre and I like this character, it kinda, like, moves back and forth depending, but right now it's definitely, like, fantasy, Dungeons& and Dragons kind of, like, characters, so
Nice. Very nice. So you play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons?
yeah, I we started back, last year just after Game On Expo, my husband DMs, and, I've definitely killed a couple of my own characters because of just dice rolls and everything,
You're like,
but
dang
yeah, and actually tomorrow, that's what we're doing for my father for Father's Day is we're gonna be playing Dungeons& and Dragons with them, so
Yeah, my daughter is teaching me Minecraft.
oh, my husband play like,
That's her
my husband plays a
gift
lot of
to
that
me.
too, so oh yeah, it's fun.
I'm like, I made a block house. What's so fun? And it's like,
Everybody
no,
starts
there's
with
so
the best of
much more.
Minecraft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There's so much more.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, of course, and that's the good thing about it. So do you have any favorite cosplays that you've done? We're just like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, very much so. Definitely my taco is definitely one just because from Halloween all the way up to where it is now, there's just so much like how did I progress like this? Another favorite one of mine is definitely my Winter Soldier. When I had that one, I did get the arm signed by Sebastian Stan,
Ooh,
so
wow, there you
I
go.
had to retire the costume because
Yeah,
I'm
so
like
you're like, that's going up on the wall.
yeah, so I would like to, like, cosplay him again. I definitely wanna do, like, the Infinity War or with, Falcon and Winter Soldier coming out, like, later on this year. I wanna see what, like, that version is and
Exactly. Yeah.
do that one. Honey Lemon is definitely another favorite. A lot of people do say I do look like her, and, I actually took the character or took the costume minus the wig to Disney World in 2018, put the costume on, and went to go meet Baymax. So
Okay. Wow. That's
yeah, he
cool.
tried to follow me home, so that was fun.
so,
But yeah.
so what's the most detailed cosplay do you think you've done?
Definitely Taco, definitely, like, as much as, like, detail as I put into the Winter Soldier arm and made sure, like, it looked, like, good,
Mhm.
definitely Taco, especially with, like, this thing, like,
Yeah,
all the lights and, like,
that's
everything,
seems
and
pretty detailed.
oh, yeah, and it's heavy too, so
Yeah,
but, yeah,
just yeah,
definitely Taco is my most detailed, but I wouldn't mind, like, going into another character and getting as much detail as I can, so
exactly. So, what do you think as a cosplayer who makes her own stuff? What would you say is your top three craftsmanship tips? Like, what kind of tips could you give the newbie cosplayer?
Definitely one of them, involving, like, hats and stuff is to watch the weight of it because this is probably about 3 to maybe 5 pounds if like, give or take, like, max
So,
5 pounds, I would say. So trying to balance this on my
yeah,
head,
right.
definitely really hard. So definitely watch the weight if you wanna go for the bigger hat and don't mind about the weight, I would say go for it, but definitely watch the weight. Definitely, if you go to a convention, have like a sewing kit with you if you like sewed your own cosplay, because of the fact that if you like rip a seam or something like that, you at least have something. I know some people actually go to conventions as cosplay medics, so you can always look
Yep.
for them too.
Yeah, that
And then
that's
like
always a good help.
oh yeah, definitely. And another thing is if you want to go as like reference as possible, definitely always have references when you're going into a contest. It's always good to have like a book of like here's how I made the costume. So when I did Manaphy, I had like taken pictures like each step of the way and to give to the judges so that way they could see like how the costume was made and everything.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I think that's the number one rule of masquerading is if you're in a masquerade, you want to have a progress book.
exactly.
Yeah, because that proves that you've done this cosplay, that you've made this cosplay. Of course,
Very much so.
now those who store buy their cosplays still, you can rock it as long as
Oh
you're
yeah.
having fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. of what I've been told, it doesn't matter like how the cosplay has come to fruition, as long as you're having fun with
And that's the most important part about cosplay for me is like if you're having fun, doesn't matter if it's store bought or like all handmade or something. You're having fun, go for it.
it. No, of course, and there are people who have made a career of cosplay, and kudos to those people because
Oh
it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort into creating one piece of work. I know for us, we're trying to create the Doctor Strange cosplay right now,
yeah.
and
Yep.
just looking for the right color, the right feel, the right texture of the material.
Oh
Whew!
yeah. It's always a pain. It's always a pain.
Yeah.
But
So, what is your favorite um, uh, cosplayers? And,
um one of my top favorite is definitely gonna be Heartless Aquarius, mainly because her craftsmanship is stunning with her costumes, like her gaijinkas that she's done. With Pokemon and everything, just absolutely stunning. Chio Cosplays is another one that I absolutely love. Just seeing her Renaissance Festival and even her Loki, like the different like ways that she's done Loki, where there's a Starbucks version, the normal version, all that kind of stuff. I would say those two are my like top two. Another one that I started becoming friends with is Birdie's Nest of Cosplay. She's another taco cosplayer, but
nice.
she's super nice, super down to earth, and I absolutely like love talking to her.
Yeah,
So
one thing that I've noticed is the Arizona cosplay community is very like willing to help you in any shape or form, and you can
yep.
just like message them, and they're like, "Yeah, hey, you should do this and this and this with your
Mm,
cosplay." And it's
right.
not like just this is my cosplay, like stay away, type of thing.
Oh
And
yeah, and I've even had people ask me like, "How do I do like my hat and everything?" And I told them like my biggest tip is just watch the weight, but I've told them how I've made the hat. I've even showed them pictures of like in the progress, just to help them out, just to like show them how I made it, so that way they could make one too.
however, would you say the masquerade is like kind of cutthroat in a sense?
Not too much, like, in my opinion, but I haven't done it in a while, so I don't know I don't know in, like, recent years,
Yeah,
but, I would say, like, every, like, so often, like, you definitely get, like, some cutthroat competition, especially when
mm,
you're in the waiting room before you go and line up before your performance.
yeah,
It's like, "Okay, what do I do?" Like, that kinda thing,
yeah.
so
Yeah, exactly, and it is always frustrating sometimes when you have that type of anxiety before the masquerade.
yeah, 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 for sure, for sure.
Yeah. So what is the funniest cosplay story of yours? Would you say?
Definitely TayuCon 2020, which was actually my first time at TayuCon. I actually saw a big Adventure Zone group, which is who I was cosplaying at the
Hmm.
time, and I was like so excited. So after I helped people at my booth who came by to purchase stuff, I went around the front and we all like got in a row to take a picture together because I was like, I need a picture with you guys. You guys are so awesome. And I turn around to go and see like if they're waiting for anybody else. And I turn back around and another cosplayer who was also not part of the group had come up front, laid down right in front of us, and just legs stuck up right in the air. And we all were just like posing, like, look at this, look at this. Like that was just like hilarious, just turning around and seeing that. I'm just like, perfect.
It's like perfect. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be great. So, what is the best character interaction that you've ever had with people?
Definitely again, TayuCon 2020. A lot of them are recent, but TayuCon, I saw another cosplayer who in the same um like realm as like who I was cosplaying from. And I just saw them over like the other side, and I'm like, I told my husband, okay, man the booth for a second. I'm just gonna go get a quick picture with them because they were the same fandom. So I got up, I went over, and before I even got to them, because I was gonna surprise them with like a line, they
Mhm.
turned around, saw me, and they're like, brother, and I'm like, sister. And I just like run over. We had like an amazing like chat, talked to them, got pictures,
Nice.
and all that kind of stuff. So that was like really sweet of them to like realize like, oh, this is also a cosplayer of like this fandom, and especially since this was my first run taking like this particular costume out to a convention.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. So, what are some things that you look into your cosplay to say, okay, I'm going to take this out to a convention. I'm going to take this out, you know, I'm going to take this one out of a convention. What are some things that you would look into?
Definitely like how new the costume is. Like if it's like the first con that it's actually gonna be fully ready for to go to it and everything, I would take it just to say like, hey, this is the convention debut, see how it goes. And if it's really popular, then like subsequent conventions, like I would take it to. That was the case with my Manaphy. I took it out several times, like just to take it out, go to conventions, go to like the Japanese festival, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely like how popular it is at conventions and if it's finished, if it's ready, if it's a brand new costume, and also if I like wearing it. Because I know Winter Soldier I wore a lot, but wearing that in the summer heat kind of got a little tiring.
Yeah,
So I retired the arm, I'm like, okay, that one definitely is retired. I'm not going to wear that one for a while.
yeah,
Same thing with the Loki one that I had. I did a Stuttgart Loki at one point where he had like the scarf and everything, and that one has since kind of retired because I haven't really worn that in a while, and
mm-hmm.
it's a comfortable cosplay, but it's kind of one of those ones that's like the popularity has died down a little bit, so I'd want to bring Loki back in like a different fashion. So
Yeah. It makes sense because living in Arizona, you always have to look into the factor: is this costume going to make me pass out halfway through the day?
exactly.
Am I going to have to chug a lot of water and then have to use the restroom several hundred times?
Exactly. That's actually what happened with my Winter Soldier. One, it was hard to go to the restroom, all that kind of stuff because of just how many layers. And two, I even wore it 2 days in a row to SabotanCon, like 2014, and got
Mm-hmm.
dehydrated in it because I didn't drink enough. So every
Oof.
subsequent time that I went to conventions, I told whoever I was with, whichever friend I went with, I told them, make sure I'm drinking water because I
Make
will
sure I'm
not drink
drinking water.
water.
No, and it is true. I've seen a lot of cosplayers where they're just like standing around, and you're like, how much water have you drank? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
So
yeah, exactly. So, what do you think has been like? Have you ever had a chance to cosplay with a family member? So, with your husband, for instance, have you ever had a chance to cosplay together?
we've cosplayed together, but never in the same fandom.
Okay.
So, like, he would cosplay like one fandom, I would cosplay another. So, he actually at one point did an Issei cosplay from High School DxD,
Hmm.
and it was a fantastic cosplay. So he kind of wants to revamp it, do something different. And now that I'm getting my Rias costume ready to go, I can finally do like an official couple costume with him. I've had like several ideas. We want to do Kindred from League of Legends. Like
Okay.
we actually said like their lines never one without the other at the altar at our wedding. So that could
Nice.
tell you how nerdy we were and still are. But
I think we're all a little nerdy.
oh yeah, never a bad thing to
Yeah.
be nerdy. So
Yeah. No,
but
yeah, exactly. So, what do you think? Have what is your favorite cosplay photo of yourself? Of course, we're our own worst critic.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely have several. Definitely the one at like the ones that the professional photographers take at the masquerades. Those always look cool. So both of
Mhm.
my Winter Soldier ones and the one that I did with Honey Lemon, where I'm like waving at the crowd, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Those ones are really fun. But definitely recently would be the one that you used for your like your picture of me
Yep.
when I sent you. That one is definitely one of my favorites because it basically was like comparing it from like I was already proud of it during Halloween,
Mhm.
but seeing it like not even a year later, how much progress it has, it's like this is a different like costume essentially. This is a different
Nice.
thing, but it's the same costume. But
Yeah, that'll be. It's always nice to see the progression of your cosplay, because yeah, you're going to have one cosplay,
yep,
and then you start off with that one, but then you add accessories and you add like maybe more material, maybe like some chainmail here and there, and then you're like, wow, this cosplay is really awesome. Yeah.
oh definitely.
So, being a female cosplayer,
Hmm.
do you get a lot of people saying, "Oh, you should cosplay as this risque character, and because you're a girl and you could pull it off." And do you think it's in the cosplay community? It's really hard to cover up, in a sense.
I've honestly personally go for more like non-risque cosplays just because just me personally. But I know that there's a lot of people out there that like have people that are like, oh, you should cosplay this or oh, you should cosplay that. But in my opinion, if I ever get those comments or if like someone else ever gets those comments,
Mm-hmm.
I say I would just like ignore them because it might not be from a fandom that I'm a part of or
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
something I don't like. And I'm like, okay, well, like, if it's one that I do like, say it's like a Disney one or something, I'm like, "Okay, maybe I'll consider that in the future," but just not at the moment. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I do think that there's several cosplayers definitely out there that, like, they would ask for a risque costume. I mean, I've taken a little bit of a chance with Rias, but I love the character too much
And
that I'm just
that's the
you
most
know
important thing, is as a cosplayer, you have to love the cosplay. Otherwise, it's going to show. It's going to show
exactly,
at
like
other people.
yeah, I mean, if you're not, like, into the costumes, say, like, if I didn't like this costume that I wore, I wouldn't have upgraded it as much as I did. I wouldn't have bought a new wig for it. I wouldn't have gotten, like, new accessories for it. I wouldn't have done as much as I have with this costume if I didn't love it. Like, if I didn't like it, if, like, I didn't like the hat, I didn't like wearing it or whatever, I would have been like, "Okay, after Halloween, I'm not wearing it again." I
Yeah,
mean, it just depends on how you like, what you love, so
exactly. Yeah, it was funny in the last interview with Gus, we were talking about how cosplay has just recently kind of like made its way like in 2009, 2010, like 10 years ago. Whereas back in the 90s, it was like if you dressed up, you were the
the
weirdo,
the
the
outcast,
outcast,
yeah,
and now
and
it's like you're the outcast if you don't dress up. You know.
exactly, like, that's the thing, like, if you're, like, not dressed up, you're either like, "Okay, whatever," it might be your first convention, or it's just like, okay, you might not be into it, or, yeah, you're gonna be the outcast because 'cause you're going to a convention where you're seeing elves, you're seeing, like this, or you're seeing that, and it's like, okay,
Hmm.
there's Captain America walking with, like Edward Elric from Fullmetal Alchemist, like there's just a mix of fandoms and
Yeah,
culture. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's always nice to see a lot of characters that you recognize at cons, and you're like, oh my gosh, I love your character so much, and
oh, very
everything.
much so.
So, next question would be, what are your go-to stores for materials or like full cosplays?
I have never personally bought a full costume myself. I am more of like a if I have it at my closet, then maybe it might work, or like I could do a casual version until I get the official outfit.
Hmm.
But my go-to stores would definitely be Michael's for like if you have like little charms, like these bottles were from Michael's.
Hmm.
The flowers, I believe, were from Michael's. But definitely fabrics would be SAS fabrics. I absolutely love them. We live like probably like 10 minutes from the store, so I
Nice.
always love going there, getting fabrics, and they're always like at a decent price too. So you can get a lot of it for really decent.
Yeah, and also with the coupons all the time that they have,
Oh
and
yeah,
it was like, whoa, hey, what, 40%
definitely.
off? All right, let's go.
Yeah, very much so. If you're going to Michael's or Hobby Lobby, use that 40% off coupon for sure.
Of course, So, do you prefer to buy wigs that are pre-styled, or do you like you said you like to style the wig yourself, right?
Yeah, I prefer to style the wig myself. I know some wigs like don't like to be styled, and I've actually completely butchered a wig, but luckily it was a wig that was like from Halloween, like 10 years ago, and it was a really, really bad wig anyway, so me
Yeah.
butchering it wasn't like that much of like a loss. But yeah, I haven't pre-purchased like a pre-styled wig. The only one that would be close would be my All Might Weekend version that I got just recently. Like that one wasn't that was kind of pre-styled. The only thing I had to do was just get like the gravity defying like how his hair is in the anime. So
Yeah, that I've seen some All Might cosplays, and I'm like, how did you get that? Is that
eh,
glue? Did
yeah,
you
it's
put
just
glue in
like
there?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And so, have you ever had someone mistake you for a different character?
I actually have, back in 2017 when me and my husband did, Comic-Con. That was actually the time where the lightsabers weren't allowed in, like, all that
Hmm.
craziness, because I didn't even know about that until later on at work, but, like, we were, like, our own original Star Wars characters, and I was in a white wig, white costume, he was in a black wig, black costume. We just didn't have the sabers on us, and I actually got mistaken. Someone did ask, like, "Are you from, like, this anime?" And I told them, "Unfortunately, I am not." So I have gotten mistaken at least once or twice, so
Yeah. Well, it seems that anime there's a lot of other characters that are similar to another character, so it's very
very much so.
yeah. Me, I'm a newbie with anime. You
Yeah.
know, my daughter said that if you're going to get into cosplay, you need to like anime because of the fact that the matter that you'll get another wide variety of cosplays that you can do. And I'm like,
Very much
oh,
so.
that's interesting. And so,
Yeah.
I've only seen animes of Sword Art Online, My Hero Academia, and Akame ga Kill. So I'm
Yeah, like,
fairly
those are definitely, like, the big ones for
yeah,
sure. Um,
yeah.
like, there's just so many, like,
So
anime to
many,
choose from,
so many.
so oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, what are all the cosplays that you have done?
Alright,
So
let's see if I can
so
remember
so
them.
we're going from number one.
Yep, let's do it. So definitely Taco from the Adventure Zone. I've done Indrid Cold from the Adventure Zone Amnesty arc. That one is a very recent run. I've done Small Might, from, My Hero Academia. I've done an Inkling from the video game series Splatoon. I've done, Loki from Marvel. I've done Winter Soldier. I've done Manaphy. Um, what else was there? I know there was more. I just can't think of them at the top of my mind. Uh, yeah, I just can't think of them. Oh yeah, Honey Lemon was one. I did, a hipster Ariel, and then I did a normal, like, where I had a walking tail aerial.
Oh
So
wow, a
that
walking
was,
tail.
yeah,
Nice.
that one was fun to make. But yeah, those are the ones that I can think of off the top of my mind.
Nice.
I know I
So
have more.
roughly, probably 15 to 20 cosplays you've done.
Probably, yeah, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. It's there's so many things when you're looking into a cosplay to do it and everything. Do you look at the factor of okay, I like this cosplay. Now, can I make this cosplay? Or do
Yeah,
you
that's
think there's like that's gonna take me like 2 months, three?
oh, definitely so. I mean, I haven't watched, like, Critical Role or anything like that, but I see the people who've cosplayed Molly Mock, from Critical Role, and I'm just like, I probably will never cosplay as him, but I can
Yeah,
applaud you because of just how many details, how much, like, intricate details, like, seeing on, like, the character sheet and how they bring it to life. I'm like, I would probably drive myself insane doing something
right.
like that.
Exactly. So, what do you think is the biggest con you've been to?
Definitely Phoenix Comic Con or Fan Fusion, however you want to say it. Definitely one of those. So
Legally, Phoenix Fan Fusion.
legally, yes,
To
Phoenix Fan Fusion.
Arizonians, it's Phoenix Comic Con.
Exactly. We still call it Comic Con at heart, but yeah, Phoenix Fan Fusion definitely is like the biggest one that I've been to. And I had been to it for, like, a regular at it for like several years. There was one year that I did skip it because after everything that's kind of happened, I was just like, okay, maybe just like this one year we take a break, probably start focusing on doing booth stuff and everything.
Nice.
And
Because you
yeah.
are an artist as well, right?
Yep,
Yes.
very much so.
Very nice. And we'll make sure we link all of the socials down on the YouTube channel and everything to have people go to your store and look at your
Okay.
artwork. Uh,
Alrighty.
so, do you prefer cosplaying characters with props, or do you say no props?
That's a double-edged sword because I absolutely love props, especially with this one with the umbrella. I absolutely love carrying it around. But at the same time, it gets to the point where I'm just like, okay, one of you friends hold this. Like, I
It
don't want
gets
to.
it gets
But
to the point where at the end of the con you're dragging your prop. You're like, I'm
exactly. And I can
done.
I can't tell you how many times when I was cosplaying as Winter Soldier, I had this big, like, fake prop, like, rifle and everything. I can't tell you how many times I've hit someone with that one,
Yeah.
and I'm just like,
You're like,
it
sorry.
yeah, luckily, a lot of them were like, "Oh, no, it's fine," and it felt especially bad with a cosplayer with, like, another prop if I accidentally hit their prop with mine.
You're
I'm
like,
just like, "No, I didn't
no.
damage it," but, yeah, definitely it's a double-edged sword because I love it. I prefer props and everything, but after some time, it definitely gets tiring. It definitely gets to the point where you're just like, "Yep, I don't want to anymore."
Yeah, I know the feeling because when I cosplayed as Link for Fan Fusion and Game On Expo, it's just that shield alone, even though it's foam,
Yeah.
it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm done carrying this shield.
Yeah, and that's one thing about nice being a vendor as well. Just recently becoming a vendor is that like if I don't want to carry it, I could just go back to the booth, sit down, put the prop off to the side, and just leave it.
Yeah,
But like
exactly.
carrying it around as like an attendee is like okay, like after a point, you're just like okay, where can I just like put this where I don't have to like carry it at all? Like
Yeah. So, what is your opinion about these virtual cons that they're having right now? Are you participating in any of the virtual cons?
I am doing the one for Game On Expo. I am in their virtual vendor hall. They actually did message like yesterday, like tweet out about the vendor hall and did feature some of my art as like an
Nice.
example of what you can purchase. So I am participating in that along with having my own website. But I honestly think these virtual cons are like definitely something to kind of help tide like the people who are getting con withdrawals and they want to go
Yeah.
to a con, but they can't go physically, it definitely is something it's never gonna be the same as, like, going physically, of course, because
Right.
that's always the fun of it, but,
Yeah.
definitely at least it's something to kinda tide us over until the next one we can actually, like, physically go to.
Yeah. Uh, it's true. It's really causing a lot of stress for a lot of people because somebody who's goes to cons religiously, it's kind of like, oh, I need a con to go to.
Oh,
I need a
yeah,
convention.
definitely.
And also for people who've made a career out of cosplaying, they're losing money. You know.
Exactly, like, those people who, like, go to the cons and sell, like, their prints, do, like, all this and that and everything,
Yeah.
they're losing money out on
Because
this,
yeah,
so
and of course for yourself, thankfully there's a virtual vendor con where
yeah,
people can actually go and see your work and purchase it. So that's a
yeah.
good benefit.
Mhm.
Have you ever lost a cosplay piece at a con where
Not to
just
my
like
knowledge not to my knowledge, but if I have,
you
then
just like look down,
I
you're
don't
like,
know
where
that
is my sash?
yeah, I have, like, misplaced stuff at conventions where I'm like, "Okay, where is this at? Where did I put this?
Yeah,
Like, what the heck?"
where
But,
did I put this? Yeah.
like, as far as I know, I haven't, like, accidentally left something. I do think that I accidentally did leave, a DS game at one point, and I can like, it was, like, Animal Crossing New Leaf. I
And you're like,
accidentally left that
no.
somewhere, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's not fun. Have you ever bought a cosplay piece at a con?
If I did buy a cosplay piece at a con, like, this was definitely from a con, but it wasn't, like, part of the costume itself, it wasn't, like, part of the character or anything,
You just
but
liked it, and
since
you're like,
this
"Ooh, thank you, real
I
nice."
like it yeah, especially if I have the bangs up, I have this little
Mhm.
area too where you do see, like, some of my real hair in the wig cap, so having it right there kinda brings a little bit more,
Of the illusion, yeah,
exactly. So,
exactly.
I do buy, like, little things for, like, my costume, especially with taco, but I haven't, like, bought, like, a sword or anything like that, but I would be more than willing to if it's, like, perfect enough.
Yeah,
So,
of course. So what's the most expensive cosplay you've done?
definitely taco, like,
Yeah.
hands down, just because of how much fabric went into this, how much,
Mhm.
like, time and energy went into this, buying the lights, making the staff, even using the 3D printer for some of this stuff, just
Yeah.
like, because 'cause I've even, like, gone from stuff that I had in my closet all the way up to I've bought my own shirt and my own, different, like, things for it just to, like, put into this costume. So, definitely that one, if not Winter Soldier.
Nice. So would you say that cosplaying solo is better than going with a group, or vice versa?
Um, I'm honestly, like, 50-50 on that one 'cause, if the character is a solo, then, yeah, it would be fun to go solo, or if you don't like, I would say even if you're going solo, I if there's, like, more of a group aspect of that character,
Hmm.
if you love the character enough, you'll go, like, solo as that character, but cosplaying a group is always fun because you all share the same love for that series, the same like you have that love, that compassion, and all that kind of stuff for the series. And if it means a lot to you, then doing it as a group with other people that it means a lot to as well is definitely something that is fantastic. So
Yeah, some people have said that when you cosplay as a group, you have like-minded people around you, and it just makes the con experience like so much, broader than just if you were to go to the convention by yourself. You're just like, oh, hey, there's some nice things. That's
yeah, like, okay, you're alone, just like kind of looking around. And even if my friends are in different cosplays, we still all go together and we still have a lot of fun. So,
exactly. So, if you ever had a chance to meet one of your like all-time favorite cosplayers, who would they be, and what would you say to them?
um, seeing as I've already met Heartless Aquarius, and
So you're like,
I
boom, gotcha,
like, oh
check.
yeah, I have that. But definitely if I were to meet Birdie's Nest of Cosplay, she's and I think she's in California, so she's not in like my state.
Yeah,
But if I ever got to meet her like in person, I would definitely tell her that like you've been a big inspiration with my taco costume. Like I've even taken like some ideas that they had on their costume and kind of brought over those
incorporated.
ideas, done it with my own little twist and everything.
Nice.
Like just like how much of an inspiration they have been. So
Very nice. So, have you ever done a cosplay panel?
no, but I would like to. I'm actually thinking of doing one at TayuCon 2021. We're going back as vendors again, and
Nice.
I'm thinking of doing an 18 plus Adventure Zone panel and
Nice.
getting like the characters together to do like a Q&A, like in character, that kind of thing, or doing something in character, maybe playing like a game show or something. So I definitely
Yeah.
want to do something like that in the future.
Very nice. Yeah, I was. I had a chance to be a panelist for Septum Con.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was. It was streaming and mental illness and everything like that. It was a very interesting thing because
Nice.
what I found with cosplayers, cosplaying is a sense of like helping them with mental illnesses that people have, like anxiety and getting out there and into the public and showing off a
Exactly.
cosplay is stressful enough because you're like, what are they gonna say? But like I said, the Arizona community has been amazing, and it doesn't matter like how big or little you are. If you're rocking that cosplay and having fun, people are gonna see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're gonna see that you love it. Like, I'll tell you, like, when I first started cosplay and I first started, like, doing, like, these characters and everything, I was always nervous of, like, "Okay, this costume's not gonna be like, no one's gonna recognize me, like, what am I gonna do?" Like, that kinda thing, and then
yeah,
sure enough, like, after I go to a convention, after I get in there and I see people that are, like, talking to me and all that kinda stuff, and they see that I'm that character and they get excited and everything, it kinda just boosts my confidence a little bit more because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, they actually recognize me, like, that I can do this. I can get through this." So,
So have you ever had an experience where somebody came up to you and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is like the best experience in the world"?
there has definitely been a few. I can't like put my finger on some because sometimes the con experience is just such a blur.
Yeah.
But definitely one of them was like I remember like at my booth at TayuCon, and all of a sudden I see a Davenport cosplayer from the Adventure Zone come around the corner with like his like little butler tray and everything, just look around my booth and say Davenport like in character, and
Oh, very nice.
I'm just like yes, like
Very nice.
I got so excited. I'm an easily excitable person, so just seeing that, I
Yeah.
was just like, "I'm done. I'm gonna
So
cry."
yeah, it's like there's a lot of fangirl moments
Oh,
in
very much
everything.
so.
So, do you prefer to buy or make your cosplay? I think we answered this already. Mostly, you make your cosplays, right?
Yeah, mostly I make the costumes, but I would be willing to, like, say if I don't get, like, a certain costume done, for, like, the convention, or if I just wanna go to Goodwill and see if I can find, like,
Yeah.
costume pieces or something, definitely I wouldn't mind doing something like that, but,
Yeah.
making the costume is always so much fun because actually getting
It's
to make it
rewarding.
and where what you, like, put all your blood, sweat, and tears into is always, like,
Yeah,
rewarding.
literally. Literally.
Exactly. I mean
You're like, ah, oh.
yeah, I probably lost sleep on this, hat. I probably, like, because I had a full-time job, and then I came home and immediately started working on the hat, and I would probably work on it from, like, 6 all the way until, like, 11 PM each night,
So yeah,
and
you were definitely con crunchy
Oh, yeah, and that
that
that was only for Halloween, so imagine how I am at conventions, so
exactly. So, have you, if you could tell your past self anything about cosplay, like what would you say to your past self?
I would definitely tell him because I remember as young as, like, when I was in my big Danny Phantom phase, when Danny Phantom was
Mhm.
still, like, airing and everything, I wanted to make my own Danny Phantom costume. But I was so young at the time, I didn't really know how to sew. I was still in, like, middle school and everything. I would go back to that past self, and I would say, "Never give up." Like, don't say, like, "Okay, people are gonna tell you, like, don't do that and everything." Don't listen to them. Like,
Yeah.
look where I'm at now. Like, that would be, like, a dream costume of me to do right now would be, like, Danny Phantom or something.
Mhm.
So, like, telling my past self, like, "Just go and do what you wanna do." Like, don't once you get to high school, there's gonna be people that are gonna put you down and everything. Don't listen to them. Just do what you wanna do, like, continue on and everything, and, like, you'll get there eventually.
Yeah, and because cosplay, like I've said before, it brings out like the anxiety out of you, and like you get to be showing off what you've made, and you think it's awesome, and people automatically say, you know what, that is an awesome cosplay, and you're like,
Yep.
wow.
They'll see, like, the confidence you have in the character and, like, how, like, good you feel in it. They're gonna get that feeling from you, and they're gonna be like, they love that costume. Like, you're gonna wanna go over to them and talk to them and everything. So
Yeah, it was funny. I was in a Spider-Man outfit, and
mhm.
for me, I'm chunky, and I use a waist belt to kind of cinch in a little bit, so it's not
Yeah,
so chunky.
yeah,
But I was in a convenience store, like I was at a gas station, just getting gas, and I was
yeah.
in full Spider-Man outfit, and I pay the gas attendant, and this old guy's like, "Why? Why?" And I'm like,
Exactly.
"Why not?" and
I
this
I
one
love
guy out of nowhere was just like, "Hey man, you couldn't pull off what he's doing right now. You leave him alone." And like he's like really cool. And I'm like, "Wow, okay, cool."
yeah,
And it
like
builds your confidence, you know.
exactly, it doesn't matter, like, what your size is, what like, your gender or anything like that. If you feel good in that costume, go for it.
Yeah, I saw. I don't know what character it was, but it was a guy dressed in a dress, and he had his own makeup done and everything. And I was like, "That is amazing."
Yeah, he's rocking it. I mean, he probably rocks that dress
Yeah,
better than I could rock a dress, so,
exactly. That's what a lot of time. So, what do you think is your ultimate dream cosplay to do?
this is one I actually thought about for a while because I'm just like, "What would it be?" Because like, obviously, Rias would be one, Danny Phantom would probably be one, but definitely my ultimate one would be Meg from, Disney's Hercules. Because
Okay.
when I was younger, and we lived in Japan, for 2 years in a row, I wore Meg. I was
Mhm.
Meg for Halloween. I did a store-bought one, and then my grandmother made me one, and
Okay.
that my parents still have to this day, so it would just be, like, fantastic to do, like, a Meg. I know that one would probably be expensive with trying to find the right material, getting that wig how I want it just because of just how big her hair is.
How the wig? Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I would wanna go as accurate as possible with it. So definitely Meg would be my biggest, like, dream costume. Like, if I ever do that and actually, like, wear it out and everything, I think I would actually cry. So
So, do you go for authenticity more than creativity of a cosplay, or what? You know.
I try to go as authentic as possible. I know, like, there's obviously some creativity,
Mhm.
with Taco, definitely, since the show is a podcast format and they don't have any, like, visuals or anything, it's more of, like, how you envision the character. So that's something that was fun that, the person who played as Taco, because it was a D&D podcast, the person who played as Taco even tweeted out saying like, "All you cosplayers are like officially like canon in my eyes. You're like 100%
Yeah.
canon. Like, go for it because it's and everybody's like whoever you want to dress up as." I know they recently come out with the graphic novels right when I got into the fandom.
Hmm.
So, obviously, like trying to paint myself blue and everything wasn't an option. So I definitely wanted to bring some elements of that into it with a bunch of like my own like twist on the character. So,
Exactly. So, how would you feel about the whole stereotype of um, the older you get, the better your cosplays get?
um, I'm hmm, that's kind of a tricky one to like think of, but like, honestly, I know with, like, as you get older, like, the more experience you have and everything, but I know cosplayers who are younger than I am, and I'm, like, getting up there. I'm 26 right now, but,
Hmm.
like, there's cosplayers that are, like, much younger than I am who are much better than me in my own personal opinion just because of just, like, how much time they've spent into doing this stuff, whereas with me, I didn't get into it until, like, high school and didn't even do, like, anything, like, super big until the past like 4 to 6 years or so. So
Okay.
people with definitely the years of experience is definitely a big part of it. But it doesn't matter how old you get or whatever the case is, anybody can
There's
cosplay.
always a character you can cosplay.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, would you say that Taco would be the cosplay that was like the most difficult one that you've done so far?
Very, very much so. The hat was a pain, making the umbrella was a pain, because just
Well,
trying to
I've
make
made
everything
the umbrella. Wow. Whew.
yeah, it doesn't, like, open up or anything, because in the show it doesn't
No, it
open up.
doesn't help one up in the show.
Um, like it does, but not like as frequent as like normal umbrellas would. But definitely like making that, making the cloak of the manta ray that he has, just making everything, getting everything. Definitely, that would be like that. So,
Yeah, and so in your opinion, what makes a cosplayer a pro cosplayer? Would you say?
um, one of the things for me would be definitely, like, craftsmanship, but honestly, what would make it a pro is if they're enjoying the costume, if they're absolutely loving it, and they're rocking the costume no matter if it's store-bought or if it's, like, made or whatever.
Hmm.
I know, like, definitely with craftsmanship, definitely, like, making it would make it more, like, professional because obviously now you have the skills to, like, make any costume you want, but
Hmm.
in my opinion, besides craftsmanship, if you're having fun with it, no matter if it's store bought or not, that would make you a pro. Just because if you're having fun and you're rocking it, it doesn't matter where it came from. So,
Yeah, exactly. So would you say that the myth of guy cosplayers don't get enough attention than female cosplayers? Do you believe that there is such a thing, or do you feel that no matter what you do, as long as you're making the cosplays and you're doing the work, you should get attention, or you're going to get attention?
I think honestly, like the latter of those two, I know male cosplayers definitely do get a little bit, probably like a little bit less, not like so much less that it's like, okay, it's only females. And then you have like the females are up here and then like the guys are like way down here.
Hmm.
But definitely, I believe that like if you make the costume, if you're rocking it, if you're however you make it and everything, if you're rocking it and you're loving it and everything, I definitely think that you deserve like even if you have like only like one or two people that know who that character is, like that's
Yeah,
still someone that knows. So
exactly. So what is your favorite part of cosplaying, in your opinion?
definitely the community because I've seen nothing but love with the community. I know there has been some like rocky points with it, but I tend to just kind of like distance myself from the drama a little bit. I don't want to get dunked like head first into it, but
Yeah.
definitely the community, especially here in Arizona, is absolutely like loving community. Like no matter who you're cosplaying, no matter what the character is, and everything like that, like people will love you like for who what it is and everything. And I'm so like new to the Adventure Zone fandom that I've even like told people that like yeah I'm so new I barely just got into it and everything but they are still saying like no so what you're still a big part of this you're still
Hmm.
like they've even called me like Canon Taco and I'm just
Yeah.
like I'm barely in this fandom why are you calling me that there's other
Yeah.
cosplayers out there that are so much more popular but definitely the community.
Exactly. So, what do you feel is your favorite experience with cosplay?
Mm, definitely just like any experience where like the people would come up to me and ask me how did you make that I've had even other Winter Soldier cosplayers who they didn't think that their cosplay was like that good or anything like that.
Hmm.
And they've even come up to me in my Winter Soldier costume and asked me how I made the arm, or they've come to me with like how to make the hat, or what are like
Hmm.
your tips on making the hat. And they've
Yeah.
even asked me like other things, and I am more than happy to like help them out, tell them my techniques, tell them like, okay, this is how I make the arm, this is how I do this, and all that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
tell them my tips of the trade, and it gets them more into costumes and everything. So
Yeah, it's always great to go to a con and see almost everyone into their cosplays because and, what's a convention about Game On Expo or Fan Fusion without people getting into what they do. And it's fun to see that
exactly,
you
everybody's
know
got their favorite thing, no matter if it's from a board game or all the way up to like big screen movies or anything like that. Like as long as you're into it and as long as you're having fun, go for it. Just get in the costume, go to any convention. I've been Marvel characters at an anime convention, and I still got a lot of people that were absolutely loving it.
Yeah,
So
there was a few cosplayers I was talking to where they said, I'm tired of telling people who I am
oh
because
yeah, definitely.
they've done obscure like characters from fandoms that aren't well known, and they're like, which cosplay is that? And they're like, oh, it's this from this show, and I think cosplayers in general bring more attention to the shows that they cosplay as, you know.
Exactly. Like if
Um,
there's shows that are not as well known, I mean, my husband and I have been watching a lot of like Rising of the Sword Hero. We just finished Isekai Cheat Magician, and those shows are great, but they're not as well known as
no,
some of the other ones, like Sword Art
Hero,
Online or like
My
that kind of,
Hero, and everything like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Like so, like I'm loving these shows. These shows are fantastic to the point where I'm like, okay, I want to take one of these characters, dress up as them, go to a convention,
and see
and
how many
like
people recognize me.
see how many
Yeah,
people recognize me, and if the ones who ask, I tell them what the show is and I recommend it. Like that's
yeah, exactly. And that's the great thing about cosplay is cosplayers bring attention to these animes or bring attention to these games. Uh, you know, I was shocked on how many people were dressed up, as, in different games where like, hey, what game is that? And they're like, oh, it's from this, like so and so.
exactly
I
like
was I was really stoked on Game On Expo with the whole how many Mandalorian cosplays were going to
I
be up there,
know.
and so I'm
Oh,
hoping with Fan Fusion we're still going to have that because there's so
oh yeah.
many. Well, because the Mandalorian was such a very popular series on
Oh,
Disney Plus.
yeah. I mean, that's one of the things. Like me and my husband absolutely love it. He's a huge Star Wars fan. That's like his fandom. So every time there was an episode released, we'd either wake up super early to watch it, or
Mhm.
as soon as I got home from work, he already had it loaded
It's
up,
like we're
saying
ready. And
like
click.
like
Yeah.
not even eat dinner. We just sit down and watch,
I
especially.
was I was bummed that it was only like 6 or 7 episodes, but
Yeah, but
and
I
then
mean,
they,
we're
but
getting the next season here, and at the end of the year,
into the year again.
and we're also getting the two Marvel series towards the end of the year. And I've heard
Exactly.
that all of them are still on schedule to
Very
like be on
nice.
time, which
Very
is
nice.
fantastic. So
Yeah, ain't gonna lie, I really love that scene in Mandalorian where the two troopers were talking, waiting. It was like waiting for the next thing that they have to do, and he
yeah,
punches Baby Yoda. And he's like, "Whoa, don't hurt it! Did you hurt it?"
yeah, that
that
was
that
funny.
the
But right
whole thing.
afterwards, I was like, okay, now you guys are the most hated characters of the
You
entire
punched
show.
Baby Yoda, and
Exactly.
yeah,
Like, yeah, that one was a funny scene, but yeah, there's a lot of like hate for those two just for that,
yeah.
for sure. So
What one thing that you gotta always beware is buyer beware is buying Baby Yoda things online because there was this Facebook advertisement of the Baby Yoda that moved around, went and made
yep,
all this thing, and you click on it and you buy it, and it's like, okay, it's $39. Well, finally, I got my Baby Yoda, and it was a plushie that did not look like Baby Yoda,
yeah,
and I'm
you
like,
gotta,
bro.
yeah, no,
But hey, my kid loved it, so I didn't care. I was like, whatever.
Yeah, you gotta definitely be careful with that. I actually went to Target a couple weeks ago and I found like this plush like Baby Yoda for like $13 or something, and
Yeah,
I was like, I'm like, you're my child now.
you're
Like
my
you're the
child.
last one. You're mine now. And I even remember like my husband, because I also had two pop figures in my hand.
Yeah.
My husband even thought that I wasn't serious about the Baby Yoda until we were at the register. So,
Yeah,
but
no,
yeah,
it's true because so do you prefer buying anything for your cosplay online or in person? Would you say?
I am preferably in person if possible, because the fact that I can definitely like see what it is.
Yes.
For like my like some other stuff I have bought on Amazon. So like with my taco shirt, I actually switched from like just a normal white shirt to a pirate-esque shirt.
Okay.
So that actually came in like super well. I always check reviews and stuff, especially with wigs, because like I was looking for a thick blonde wig for taco for like about 2 weeks before TayuCon, and I was like, okay, I just want a new wig because the old one was just a white wig. I wanted to do something different. So
Yeah.
after like searching, looking at reviews, making sure that it was all like good, I finally bought one and like couldn't be happier with it. So definitely check reviews too, because like eBay or Amazon or anything like that, definitely
Yeah.
like buyer
No,
beware.
it
So
was funny because my mother-in-law bought this microphone on Amazon, and
okay,
the reviews were like, "This is the worst mic in the world. This is horrible." Blah 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 blah. And
yeah,
I set it up, and it was impossible to set up by myself because
oh
there was
yeah,
no
yeah.
instructions. But to me, it sounds great. I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
it
It's
sounds
kind of
fantastic on my end too.
that's
So
crazy. And I'm like,
yeah,
what? Why would you put nasty reviews like that? And you see
maybe
these all the times where don't cosplay as this character because this,
exactly.
and then you turn out to be like, well, that was really comfortable for me, and I don't understand why people were so upset about this and this cosplay.
Definitely.
So, during the pandemic, what are you personally doing to kind of like stay out of the rut? Because right now a lot of cosplayers are in a rut. They're not creating their stuff because they're like, why I have no con to show this off, it's not worth it.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, with me, I actually had gotten laid off by my company for a month and a half before they hired me back, and yeah, that right at the middle of the pandemic, they just laid everybody off. But luckily, they took me back, and I was more than happy to go back, just to at least get something to do. But
Yeah,
during
exactly.
that like time off when I wasn't playing Animal Crossing because that had just come out,
Yep.
um, I was still doing my costumes. I was still like definitely doing TikToks just to kind
Nice.
of like get like show off the costume a little bit more, even though yeah, it's middle of April. I'm in this like huge costume and it's hot and like I'm sweating and everything, but
Yeah.
still just being able to do that was at least something to get me through. That's I actually created the wig for my female crow. I've already created that, so that one's already done. I created my injured cold from Taz Amnesty. I've done that one. So I'm still kind of like, okay, stuff around the house, maybe I can kind of get and kind of keep myself out of the rut because I just didn't feel like sewing or like doing anything like that as far as like costumes go. But
Yeah. So, one thing that cosplayers always talk about is the con crud that you get. That's where you go to a convention, and then after the 4 days that you're there, or 3 days you're there, you get sick.
yep,
Is
I've had
that a
that.
reality?
That when I was in my Winter Soldier, when I got dehydrated, I actually was doing my internship at the city of Peoria for graphic design, and like luckily the guy who I was interning under was a cosplayer. He was a Judge Dredd cosplayer,
Oh,
part of the
nice.
area judges. So he understood full well that that day I went to school like first thing in the morning and I was going to come after school to do my internship, but I was just like I feel like terrible. I'm like, ugh, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So I messaged him. I just messaged him like I'm like, I can't come in. I'm not feeling good. That kind of thing.
yeah.
And he's like, oh no, like con crud, please feel better. Like he
He
understood.
totally
So
understood because
yep,
he's been in that situation before.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
So, are there anything that you want to bring to attention about cosplaying in general?
The only thing I would bring to attention is, like, if you're having fun doing it, just go for it. If you're, like, hesitant about, "Okay, what if I don't wanna cosplay this character because, like, X X, Y, or Z," or
Mhm.
whatever reason it is, if you're always hesitant, if you absolutely love the character enough to where you want to cosplay them, go for it. Like, I'm one of those people where I'm kind of impulsive, so if I, like, see a costume that I like or see a character that I like, I'm like, "Ooh, I wanna cosplay that." Add it to my never-ending cosplay list that is, like,
Right.
miles long by this point. But I would say, like, if you absolutely love the fandom, if you absolutely love the character and you feel like, especially if you, like, feel that you're like the character and
Mhm.
everything, I just say go for it, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Because one of the hardest things that a lot of cosplayers go through is, am I the right fit for that cosplay?
Yeah.
No one wants to see a fat Spider-Man, but hey, if
Yeah,
you're
but
rocking that Spider-Man outfit, it doesn't matter, and that's
and remember, Into the Spider-Verse did have, like,
Peter
Peter B.
Parker, Peter B. Yeah, yeah,
Yep, so he was a little bit of a, like,
yeah,
heavier, like,
heavier Spider-Man. Yeah,
so you can say that you're that one, like,
yeah,
definitely,
exactly. So yeah,
like,
I'm
no matter
Parker
what.
B. Yeah,
Exactly,
exactly. Well, and also on top of it, if you are on the chunkier side, you can always find a character that is on the chunkier side. There's lots of
exactly,
characters around there, and as long as you feel comfortable in it, it doesn't matter what you wear; it's how you present it.
exactly.
So, there's about 3 viewers in the chat, and so if you have any questions, viewers, and you feel free to type them in for Allie. Um, I think that the biggest scare for cosplayers would be, um, how much is this going to cost me?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
there's costumes where, looking at the material alone, it's $200 to $300
exactly.
for the cosplay, and you're like, is it worth it? And so, what advice would you say to that? Like, is it worth it to go for the more expensive, or do you think, make it how you want to make it?
I honestly think make it however you wanna make it, but if you have the money and you have the time where you can, like, spend, like, the more expensive, like, stuff, like, with my Meg, I would love to do her, but I wanna wait to find the perfect material no matter how much the cost is, to be honest, so it
Yeah.
might be a couple years down the line before I get to make that costume, but I wanna wait to find the perfect material, wait to find, like, that stuff, but if it's not, like, your dream costume and it's one that but you still wanna really do it, I say if you have the time, if you have the money, if you have, like, the resources and everything, I would say go for it, but it's all up to you how you wanna make it. You can even go to Walmart, go to the fabric section there and
Yep.
get some, like
Exactly.
material there if you want to, and then you can always, like, update it later. Say it
Mhm.
is your dream costume, and you can always just keep building, keep building,
Keep
keep
building.
going, especially if the character has different outfits, you can do as many of them as you want,
Hmm.
so
Exactly. And that's the great thing about it is one pattern can be used for a different cosplay as well.
exactly,
As long as you change the color of it or whatever, or the style of it. So,
exactly.
um, if you don't have any other questions, then thank you for spending the time
Thank you
and
for having me.
talking about cosplay.
Mhm.
Thanks for the viewers in the chat.
Thank you,
And
guys.
and like I said, once the video's on YouTube, then all of your links will be on the bottom,
Okay.
and then also we'll see what else we can do to help bring more attention to cosplayers at this time of quarantine,
Yep.
where it's driving everybody a little crazy, but we'll get
Sure.
through it.
Yep,
Well,
we
we'll
will.
get through it. We'll get through it eventually. We'll have
We'll we'll power through it,
we'll
so
we'll have whatever we need to, and fingers crossed again for Phoenix Fan Fusion, because that is an amazing con to go to for
yep,
those in the Arizona uh, area, or heck, if you want to drive from California.
yep.
Um, but yeah, so thank you again for your time. All
Thank you
right,
again for having me.
take care.
You too.
All right, bye.